As the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Scott, for his time of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Wahlberg, I seem to remember, and I'm speaking specifically to this HR 2988, that Texas and Florida and some other attorney generals filed suit against BlackRock for using their ownership position in energy companies to carry forward their ESG directives and actually manipulating energy prices and raising energy prices. I think the purpose of this legislation is to make sure that things like that don't happen again. Am I correct about that?
That's absolutely correct. We're saying neutrality is what we want to see take place. And when you're thinking of ERISA, in fact, plans under ERISA employees really like and employers like as well. But when they, in the past, have been taken off the area of neutrality and said ESG had to be considered in making those investments, that puts us at risk. And what we're saying is we want neutrality there in the process of making investments.
And so what happens is, for virtually all of us as Americans, we put our investments into funds that are managed by these supersized managers. And then we as the Americans, not owning the individual shares, no longer get to vote those shares. It's these major investment firms that get to vote those shares. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then they, in their activism, put people on boards, and then all of a sudden, maybe they put someone on a bank board that because of ESG decides they don't want to loan money to a local gun store. They don't want to do business with a small business owner that may own a gun store, or they don't want to be in the manufacturing business. They don't want to loan money to somebody in the manufacturing business if part of what that business does is related to firearms or related to the oil and gas infrastructure. And that's what these activist investors were doing with our money. Is that your understanding?
That is our understanding. That was a concern, that investors like us who are trusting it to be done in the best way possible for our best interests, that all of a sudden we're supporting and bankrolling political agendas and ideologies that may or may not be accurate. And
Well, I hear you on the it may or may not be accurate, but I can tell you this. Several state attorney generals filed lawsuit against these major investment firms, and these major investment firms, with all of the money that they have, and they're the richest corporations in the world, at least some of them, and they're the richest corporations in the world with the best attorneys in the world, and a federal judge said, there's actually enough evidence here that you're doing this that we're going to allow the cases to move forward. The federal judge did not dismiss the case against those organizations for what they were doing. Is that correct?
that's correct.
And so, as rich as they were and as good as their lawyers are, there was enough evidence that they were not operating in the best interest of the people who invest with them, that they were carrying out a social agenda, and that is the reason that this legislation is necessary. And so I commend you for bringing it forward. I think there are a lot of other good pieces here, but this is necessary to stop these major corporations from being activist shareholders and shutting down industry in this country. And so I appreciate you bringing it forward. With that, Mr. Chair, I yield the remainder of my time.